In this video, you're going to get my non-spoiler review of Baby Driver. Does it actually live up to the hype? Well, stick around. Let's find out. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Lavin, and I review movies to help you manage your expectations so when you walk out of the theater, you're not left disappointed. And real quick, since music plays such an important part of this movie, why don't you jump in the comment section below and let me know what your favorite song featured in a movie is. So Baby Driver is about a young man who reluctantly works as a getaway driver. He had some kind of injury happen to him early on in his childhood that left a ringing in his ear, so he'll oftentimes play music to help drown that out. And because of that, music plays an important part in this movie-going experience. Now, to be honest, I hadn't heard much about this movie until a few months ago. And even then, I wasn't all that interested. It just sounded like your standard action movie that you would go in, enjoy, and then forget about the second you walk out of the theater. And then the trailers came out, and you started hearing this buzz. A lot of critics were saying there was something really special about this movie, Baby Driver. So my expectations were elevated. And now that I've seen the movie, I can tell you, as great as the movie is, and as much fun as it is, I do think it is a little bit overrated. Now, before you get the wrong impression, I don't want you to think I hated this movie. There were a lot of things I absolutely loved about it. So let me talk about a few of those. So let's start with something I liked. Every time Baby is behind the wheel, it is absolute magic. A lot of times when you watch these action sequences that involve car chases, the action becomes hard to follow, but that is not the case here. Edgar Wright did an excellent job of helping you be able to keep up with what was going on. The shots he gave you are beautiful, they're exciting, and at the same time, completely unpredictable. And that's exactly what you want from an action scene like this. So Baby Driver at its core really is the story of a wheelman, and I love how they stayed true to that theme from start to finish, specifically in how they use the car. Now, I'm not going to go into details. I don't want to ruin anything for you, but I will say the way they use the car in the final act of the movie is a little different from the way they used it previously. And I feel like it served the story perfectly. Okay, so since I brought up the last act, let me just mention a couple of things real quick. For me personally, a bad ending can ruin a good movie, and a good ending can redeem a bad one. And I just have to say, this ending is not just good, it is great. I feel like it is really well written. Everything seems to flow naturally from the story they're trying to tell. It's unpredictable, and I just have to say, I loved how they used their villain. I love what they did with a lot of characters. Now, the trailers don't give you a lot of information, so I'm going to try to keep my statements pretty generic. Jamie Foxx for me was the standout. I think this is the best performance he's given since Ray. I loved everything he did in this movie. John Hamm plays a character named Buddy. He's a bit of a slow burn. You get to know him gradually through the course of the movie, but he ends on a high note, and I thought he was spectacular. Anson Elgort also plays Baby. He's the main protagonist, and what I really loved about his character was the relationships he had with other people and how they informed his character. The character of Baby is a bit stoic and difficult to get to know, and that creates for interesting character dynamics all over the place. For example, I feel like there are no moments where you really get to know that character better than when he is spending time with his roommate. They really flesh out who Baby is well. I loved everything dealing with his roommate. I also loved the bonding moments that he had with Buddy. Everything he did with Jamie Foxx was just amazing. Even his interactions with his love interest, the character of Deborah, I thought were really solid. Although I will admit, that's probably one of the weaker character dynamics in the entire movie. The only character relationship I really didn't care for so much is the relationship between Baby and Doc, played by Kevin Spacey. While I think both actors did an excellent job of portraying their characters, it just seemed like their relationship at the beginning of the movie was one thing, and at the end of the movie was something different. And it wasn't like there was a story arc that got them from point A to point B. It was just two very different impressions. Okay, so this is the part of the video everyone's gonna hate me for. I feel like my biggest disappointment was how they used the music. Not because what they did was bad, but because they didn't take full advantage of the opportunities they had created. I really thought they were going to use this as an opportunity to explore the emotional depths of this character. And instead, all they really do is explore his adrenaline levels. Now, this is going to take a little bit of explaining. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, this is what you need to know. Anytime you hear music on screen, you are listening to what Baby is listening to in that scene. If you need an example of this, just jump in the description below and you will see a link to the To Kill Ya trailer. It is a perfect perfect demonstration of exactly what I'm talking about. So what I wanted them to do with the music is I really wanted them to explore the emotional depths of this character, especially in those more drama-driven moments. But they didn't. Instead, all they really use it for is to amp up the energy into the car chase sequences, and that was a bit of a disappointment for me. So currently, Baby Driver is sitting at 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's a little high. It probably deserves more of an 88, 89%. For me personally, it did not live up to the hype that everyone was giving it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a fun movie. It is absolutely a blast. So if you just kind of tune all that stuff out and go just to experience a fun, action-packed movie that's well directed and well acted, I think you'll be fine. And as always, if you've made it to this point in the video, you must have liked it. So why don't you go ahead and give it a thumbs up? Jump in the comment section below and let me know what your favorite use of music in a movie was. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out so you're kept up to date next time I get ready to upload a new video.